the religion, and what was it initially that made you kind of stop studying initially?
Okay, I started back in 2001, and they came to my door. And at first, I was just talking to them at the door. I wasn't letting them in. I was just talking to them at the door for a while. They came like every week. And we talked at the door. And then finally one time, I said, why don't you guys come in? So, they came in and we sat in the living room and we started to study. But I remember telling them right from the beginning that I never wanted to change my religion. I just wanted to find out about the Bible because I never really knew about the Bible as a Catholic. Mm-hmm. So I started a Bible study. And it went along just fine, and I believed every word they said, and I couldn't, believe how much I didn't know and how much the Catholic Church wasn't telling us, and how they, were the ones that were worshiping God the wrong way. They're saying that the Catholics take everything out of the Bible and change it and teach it to their parishioners. Yeah, and I believe that, and I really, really do believe that. I couldn't believe it, and then I went totally against the Catholic Church and was all for the Jehovah's Witness religion, but I did not want to change at the time. I did not want to convert.
Was there any particular reason why you weren't ready?
Well, my family, mostly my husband, didn't really care for the Jehovah's Witnesses. Every time they came around, if he was home, he would tell them, no thanks. Even the Mormons came, and he said no thank you, and he didn't push me to quit studying with them. He just told me you do what you want, but I'm not really for it all. I mean, I don't. He was brought up Catholic too, and he wanted to stick to his religion. He didn't even know about any other religion. He was brought up Catholic, and that's it, and that's where he was going to stay. But he says, you can study if you want, but he just didn't really care for it,
Right.
Yeah.
And so you were just kind of feeling like you weren't ready to convert because of your family.
Family, yes.
Not having the support from them. Okay.
Right, yeah. And I do have an older brother and his wife that studied back in the early 70s.
Oh, wow.
And and his daughter, his youngest daughter also studied afterwards. And I told him about it. I told him about that I was studying, and he didn't say anything. He's more like into the Jewish religion more than any other Christian religion now, my brother. But yeah, and I have another brother who just absolutely hates the Jehovah's Witnesses. He, when I was a kid and they came to the door of my parents' house, he would just yell at them and tell them to leave, go away. I don't know what he had against them or what it was he didn't like about them, but he didn't want them around.
Okay. And your brother who studied with them in the 70s, do you know why he stopped studying?
He stopped studying along the way because, first of all, they adopted twins when they were like 6 months old. And I guess the BCYF here in Rhode Island, I guess you had to be like a Catholic, a Christian Catholic, to adopt back then. Oh. I'm not sure. Okay. But so they decided not to become Jehovah's Witnesses. Plus, my brother was sick at one time, and he needed a blood transfusion. Oh. So that got him a little upset about it, about the religion, and he just stopped because of that.
Yeah. Well, okay. That's a good reason.
Yeah, well, before they started studying, he already had the, blood transfusion already. And when he told them, they told him, well, they don't do that, because they told him why, the blood is sacred and,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
so that's why he doesn't really care for them anymore.
I see. And so then you studied with them in the early 2000s. You kind of broke away
Yep,
because of your family lack of
yep,
support, and then you
yes,
went back to it in 2023, right?
yes, yes,
Okay.
they came to my door. Now we're living in a totally different place, a different town,
Uh-huh.
and we're in like an apartment condo place.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't think they would ever come to like a apartment building or to like on a property, like this.
Oh.
And they did. And they came, they rang my bell because my apartment's like the first apartment in the front. So they rang my bell. And I went out and I started talking to them. And I was just so happy that they were there because of all those years of not studying, but I still believed in the religion,
Oh,
you
okay.
know. I always believed all those years
Mm-hmm.
from the first time I studied until 2023. And and I was so happy to see him. It was two young men and a child at the door. And when we just started talking, they wanted to invite me to the memorial that year.
Uh-huh.
So it was on April 4th that year. And I was going to go with my niece because she was into the religion too. And but her ex-husband wouldn't let her bring up the kids in that wacky religion.
I see.
So he started taking the kids to her two kids to a Baptist church. My niece, something came up with my niece and she couldn't go, and she was my only ride. And my husband was working that night, my son was working, so I couldn't go. But
Okay.
I have going. Well, I didn't go last year,
You
2024. I
you
didn't
go
go
this
because
year?
I didn't. No, I know I didn't go this year.
Okay.
And but I did go to the conventions of 2023.
Okay.
Uh,
By
that was in
yourself?
Rhode Island. No, I went with my teacher, my study teacher.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, Jen and her husband.
So did you, during those years, for the 20-year span, did you stop celebrating the holidays?
Oh no, no, I still celebrated all the holidays.
I see. So
Yeah,
you
because
believed
because
in,
of I did it because of my family. If I
okay.
said to my family, made a stand by myself
Yeah.
and say I'm not going to celebrate, it'll be, my family would really go crazy.
Okay.
It'll be,
Right.
they just didn't like that religion.
Yeah.
But I always did.
Uh-huh.
I always read about it and always
Yeah.
loved it, wanted to learn more.
Right. Well, the thing is too, like with Jehovah's Witnesses, so they will show an interest in you, a personal interest in you when they're
Yes,
knocking on your door. And it's a combination. There are people who genuinely do care and do
right.
want people to come and be saved. And then you also have the other part of it, which is their works. So their works is counting their hours of field service that they put in,
Right.
and just getting ahead on that. So
Yep.
once they get you in, they can love bomb you initially and all that, but once you're in, then you don't get that love that you did in the beginning.
Yes, I experienced that all. Even the first time, way back when, I
Mhm.
went to the Kingdom Hall to their services a couple of times. And boy, as soon as I walked in, they all kind of like come up to me, introduce themselves, and,
Yeah, you're a new person,
who
so
I'm looking. Yeah. And this time, when I went back, and I started going to the Kingdom Hall over here in my area. I mean, there were a lot of nice people. They came up to me and stuff, but they weren't like they were back in the early 2000s. You know, it was different. The people weren't as friendly as they used to be. I mean, I had a few that were friendly, came up to me, talked to me and everything, you know.
Uh-huh.
And, I got to know some of them really well. And I was going like almost every week,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
starting in 2023. I went to the convention, went to assembly that year and everything. I
Yeah.
was even looking into the baptism, watching the baptisms that they had at the convention and the assembly to see what it was all about. You know, I wanted the front row seat for that. Yeah, I was really interested into it, you know. And the woman that I was studying with did love bomb me a lot. She used to bring flowers to me, take me out to eat and for ice cream and everything.
Yeah. She's really
Yeah.
hoping you'd convert.
Yeah, yeah, you know, and I knew exactly what she was doing. I knew what she was doing at the time when she, you know, the last time she gave me flowers, you know, first she asked me what flowers I like, and I said, oh, I like tulips. So a couple of weeks later, here comes a bouquet of tulips.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Well, that was
you know,
nice. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
That's
I mean,
sweet.
she was very nice to me. She
Sure.
was, and I liked her a lot,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
and
The people can
what
be
I,
really nice. It's not the people that are the problem. It's just
right,
the leaders
yes,
who dictate all of the rules, and then that can
yes,
make the members feel, they feel guilty, they feel a lot of fear, they may have anxiety, they feel a sense of
yes.
obligation all the time. And
That's what
so,
I was feeling. I was feeling so guilty
yeah,
because of my life. I said, oh my God, all the mistakes I've made, all the things I've done that were wrong, that were sins, they made me feel so guilty about like I wasn't going to be saved, you
yeah,
know?
yeah, right. And
But, you
then
know, later
also
on,
their since their version of salvation is also not a biblical one. I mean, even though they
right.
claim it is, but like they think that if you celebrate a birthday, it's a sin. you know.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're glorifying one person whose birthday it is. You know, you're not really worshiping them. You're just wishing them good wishes for the next year.
And
That's what
also,
I look at birthdays
yeah,
for,
well, also
you
they're
know?
okay with wedding anniversaries, which is no different. You are
Right.
acknowledging someone's wedding day. You're acknowledging someone's
Yes.
birthday. What's the difference?
It's the same thing. Yeah, that's what I said. Well, they celebrate wedding anniversaries, and that's about it.
Yeah, right.
You know?
So what was it that made you start questioning whether or not this was true?
Um, the more we got into it, first of all, my very first Bible study with this, you know, second time around, the first thing she said to me was, before we even got started with the Bible study, was, this is not a cult.
Wow. Okay. That's an
You
interesting
know?
way to start a
Yeah.
conversation.
Yep. So just, you know, because some people think it's a cult, but it's not. We're a true religion,
Okay.
you know, appointed by God,
Hmm.
you know, and I never really conceived, like, I never really understood why they were the only ones that were going to be saved. I said, why can't the rest of us be saved?
Yeah.
You know, just
Good
because of
question.
one religion, God's going to pick that one religion. And if you're not in it, too bad, you're
Right.
gone,
Yeah. Yeah,
you
that's
know.
that's a good
I couldn't
question.
understand that. I said, all these people, I mean, there's more people that are not Jehovah Witnesses that are Jehovah Witnesses. You know what I mean?
Yep.
There's more of us than there's of them. And that means we're all going to die except for that one group. That's what they believe.
Yeah.
So I remember her saying to her partner that came with her one time, she said, you know, we got to, you know, keep on going and doing these Bible studies, to bring more people in to save them.
Yeah.
That's what she said. So that's what she really believed. I said, oh my gosh, she really believes that.
Yes. Yeah, they do
And
believe that.
along the way, they start giving me all these things about how Jehovah Witnesses should act, dress, and talk. I said, oh my gosh, you can't do anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
No,
Uh,
you can't do anything. And about drinking and doing drugs, you can't smoke marijuana, you can't drink beer. Well, they all drink.
well, they do allow it. They just say don't be a drunk, you know.
Well, yeah, that's what it says, not to overdo it. You can drink moderately, but, you know,
Yeah. And then there's the no holidays and no,
oh, yeah, that was
no,
another thing. My
no.
first year, 2023, um, I celebrated Christmas with my family.
Hmm.
I don't see, because I don't see that just because I'm studying, I have to stop,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
celebrating with my family. I'm just studying. I mean, I haven't made a decision,
Yeah.
you know, but I celebrated Christmas that year with my family. And then, like a month later, or right after the Christmas holiday, she came over. And, and of course, she knew I celebrated because there was a big screen TV in the living room. So that was brand new for my son. Um, she just noticed some things around the apartment that were new. And she goes, I can see that you celebrated Christmas this year. And she goes, and you're not, really coming along that well with changing your life or, become a Jehovah Witness. And I said, well, I haven't really decided what I wanted yet. I said, I'm still studying and we're still in the book, you know?
Right.
And, I mean, it takes a while. It's only been since I started I think it was in April of 2023. And this was December, Christmas that year. And I said, it's only been, studying for what, 8 months? 8 months. And you think by now I have to change by Christmas time, convert or show. She goes, I wasn't showing that I wanted to become a Jehovah Witness. She said, I made small changes, but not the big changes.
Yeah. They want you to isolate yourself from the world, which they would call anyone who wasn't a Jehovah's Witness worldly. So that means you're
Yes,
basically isolating yourself from your family who isn't Jehovah's Witness. And
right,
so that's the what makes it a cult, which is high control. It's a high control group, and that just
right,
basically means that they want to take all of, they tell you all these things you cannot do, which can
right.
be like unreasonable, like not celebrating a birthday or Christmas or not doing blood transfusions.
Yeah,
And if you do break some of the rules, as then you could get disfellowshipped if you became baptized, which is their word for shunning. So that
yes,
means everyone is isolating you now, and you have to make your way back into the fold over time. It could take a year or two, and it's very there's that's a lot of manipulation.
it
And
is.
if they claim to be Christians, which they do claim, Jesus
Yes.
never shunned anybody, and he
No,
always was teaching with love. And if you,
yep,
and he said, "You will know my people by their fruits and their love, and
right.
you will produce good fruits, not rotten fruits." And so you just have to do a comparison and be like, "Well, would Jesus do this? No, he would not."
No, that's
And
what I've been doing.
yeah,
Yeah,
a lot of it is just kind of logical thinking, critical thinking skills, and also
yeah,
like I if people who are not sure if they're already religious, if they're already believing in God, I always say just pray on it. If you're not sure about
right.
something, pray about a new religion that you're thinking of joining to see
Yeah,
if that is the right
yeah.
way. But it definitely isn't
Well,
with Jehovah's Witnesses because of all of the
no,
harsh ways.
no, no, no. Um, I mean, I went through that book, Living Forever.
Yeah, I did too. The red one, or
Yeah. Let me see.
well, no, you
It's a
probably
big,
knowledge that leads to
yeah,
everlasting life.
knowledge.
Yeah.
Yeah, the my first time, I still got all the books. I still got the black Bible and everything.
Okay.
And when I started the new Bible study, I had the black book out in the small knowledge book.
Yeah.
And she came in and says, "Oh, we don't use that Bible anymore. Look," she's saying to the other person, she's got the black Bible like it was a big curse.
Yeah, like they think their own literature is apostate, which I
Yeah,
don't know if you know
and I
the
couldn't
terminology.
believe it. She looked at it like it was evil,
Yeah, yeah, because a lot of
you
their old
know?
literature, they consider it like no useless now, and well, that's old light. We have new information, but that's also a red flag. You know, you're if you go by the Bible, it says that God is the same yesterday, today, and tomorrow. So He doesn't
Yeah,
change. The Ten Commandments still
yeah,
stand. Why are they
yep,
changing? Right?
right, yeah,
So yeah, you just start putting it all together, you add it all up and you
right. That's
realize,
what I was doing. That's what I was doing.
good.
Yeah, and what was it? So I I said, okay, well, I'll get the new Bible. And I ended up buying it for $6 off of Amazon. And she said that they don't do that. They don't sell their Bibles on Amazon or anything like that. You have to get it from them, from the watchtower. And I said, I don't know, but I got this one from Amazon. It
Yeah, they
was
don't
putting
even
Jehovah.
realize it, that all the stuff that's
Yeah,
out there that's leaked. I mean, they have an elder's manual called Shepherding the Flock. That was always
yep,
a secret book that were only for the elders, and now of course it's all over the internet and they'll never be
right,
able to hide
yep,
anymore. So the age of the internet is their demise. It
yes,
really
it
is.
is. They're gonna fall someday. Maybe
I hope
not
so.
all the way. I mean, there'll probably still be a small group of them
Sure.
around,
Yeah.
but I think they're gonna go down.
Well, the older ones who've been in it for years and years, they're going to die off, and so the only people that will be left will be maybe some that were born in, and
Yeah,
so it could hang on as a small group, uh, but it
yeah,
won't be like it once was. So it'll be
yes,
a very small group still hanging on in there.
yeah, yeah,
Well, I'm glad that you were
and
able to figure things out, uh,
yeah.
and
Um,
do you still
I
feel
feel so ashamed.
Oh
I feel
no,
so ashamed. I feel like I'm naive, and
no,
um,
it's okay.
and I fell for it all.
Yeah, well, it's okay because like they're really good at cherry picking scriptures. They can tell you they have all
Right?
the answers, right? They have all the answers of every of
Yeah.
life's questions, and they can find it
True.
all in the Bible. But all they're doing
Yes.
is taking a verse out of context and running with it, creating a story. Anyone can do that. So, what you have to
Right.
do is read the entire chapter, read the whole thing to find out what the context actually means.
Right.
And,
Right.
and that's what they don't
Yep.
do.
No. No. But they make it sound like they really know the Bible,
Yeah,
and that's how I felt for it. You
right.
know.
They know
Yeah.
some scriptures, they know certain verses really well, but they don't know the
Yes. They
whole
do.
Bible. There's scriptures that they overlook that they shouldn't. Like they use the whole scripture of Matthew 28, 18 and 19, or 19 and 20, that says to go therefore and make disciples of people and
Yeah.
baptize them in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. They don't baptize people in the name of the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit. But
Yeah.
also, the scripture before that says, Jesus said, all authority has been given unto me in
Right.
on earth and in heaven. Not in 1914. which they claim. So that that
Right.
that could prove right there 1914 isn't true just by reading the
Yes,
Bible.
she explained that to me too. She explained, we came to that chapter in that book, and she explained it to me, and I couldn't figure it out. I said,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, if that's what you say.
I will tell you, I also felt like it always went over my head. I grew up Jehovah's Witness. I
Yes,
was born in, and it never made any sense to me, but it was kind of like, well, you accept it because you feel like they know what they're talking about and they understand
right,
things I
right,
don't understand, and they're doing all
right.
this math. And so I just was like, okay, I guess, well, World War
Yeah,
One did happen in 1914, so you just kind of start thinking maybe it's true. But the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
the,
yeah,
the calculations when you find out about the fall of Jerusalem by the Babylonians, their date was wrong. They were off by
right.
about 20 years. They say
Wow.
607. The history says like 587 BC. So that would not equal up to 1914. So you can actually do math and find
Yeah,
out history to disprove 1914.
right. Yep. But she truly believed in, when she goes, do you understand it? I said, a little, yeah. She goes, well, it's true. I said, okay, if you say so, it's true.
And
The
does she?
reason I stopped
Yeah.
was because one night I was going through that study book, and I was at the end of section 3, the last chapter, which was, are you ready to be baptized? When I seen that chapter, like, it horrified me. I'm not ready for that. And then I ended up looking ahead in the section 4. I started going through the chapters in that, and I came across a chapter about the governing body, and I started reading it. Now, I remember seeing when I used to go to the meetings during the week. I used to see they used to have their videos with some of the governing body talking, and I read, and I said, wait a minute, they're saying they're part of the 144,000, the faithful and discreet slave. I looked it up in Revelation, and the description of the faithful and discreet slave was it these guys.
Right.
You look in Revelation, it tells you the description.
Yeah.
And and I said, wait a minute. So I sent a text back to her, and I told her that I don't want to be baptized. I wanted my studies to stop because I didn't give her the reason right away. I said, I just don't want to study anymore. So she texted me back and asked me why, and I told her what I found out about the governing body. I said, I don't believe that they're the faithful and discreet slave. I'm sorry. They're men.
Mhm.
They're earthly men, worldly men, really. You
Yeah.
know, I said, I'm not going to go by what these guys say, this governing body says. I said, I'm not going to live by what they believe. I said, I'm sorry, I just don't believe your religion is the true religion.
Yeah.
And that was it. That was the end.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, and that's the thing is that people just have to do research, including Jehovah's Witnesses who are in,
Yeah,
because just because you grew up in it, just because somebody convinced you, doesn't make it true. You still have to find out the truth and evidence whether or not
yeah,
they're teaching something that is accurate.
yeah, true. And I started having suspicions because of some of the beliefs they had, before I even looked in their own literature.
Yeah.
I found that wasn't even true. The faithful and discreet slaves are not these men that are on their board or whoever they are, you know.
Yeah.
And I remember one meeting I went to, the woman I was with, this is funny, they had a video of Stephen Lett,
Uh-huh.
and the woman I was with says, oh, he's anointed.
Okay.
And I looked at Stephen Lett. I said, he's kind of crazy, the way he talks and stuff.
Yeah. True.
I said, how can he be anointed? He looks kind of nutty. I'm saying to myself,
Yeah, it's
but I
funny.
couldn't believe that she believed that he was anointed.
Yeah,
I
because he
was
said
like,
he
what?
was, so that's all I gotta
Yeah.
do.
And well, she surely believed that he was, you know?
Yes. But he's the governing body member, so they're in
Yeah,
charge.
yeah.
Yeah.
But that's how it all started and ended.
Okay, and now do they continue to come by your home?
No, no, I haven't seen him since.
They didn't invite you to the memorial this year?
No,
Okay. Well, I
no,
guess they've moved on. And the thing
yeah,
too is like if before you were to get baptized, they would have wanted you during your studies to become an unbaptized publisher first, where you go out and you go knocking on doors and preaching to people.
yes,
And then you would have had to answer some questions about that first. And then once you were following all the rules, then you could get baptized, and they would ask you a series of questions for that too. Because
yes,
before you can get baptized, you have to follow all the rules before you can get baptized. Or
right,
they won't let you join.
yes. And I wasn't doing that, that first year,
Right.
because like I said, I celebrated Christmas. I
Yep.
just didn't want to say, well, I want to end it now and giving a reason why,
Mhm.
but I just happened to be looking through that book and coming across that chapter on the governing body. And when I read it, I was in such a shock. I just laid back and I was staring at the ceiling and I couldn't, I was devastated. Devastated.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
couldn't believe it.
Well,
I
they
said,
have
what?
been in charge all along. The faithful, discreet slave, also known as the governing body. I mean, they've been uh, ruling this religion from the beginning,
Right.
pretty much. So, yeah, just different people come in and leave. Some people die, and then they bring people in. Like they have some more members in that they've added to the team.
Yes, yes, yeah. Well,
The
there's
governing
11
body.
now.
I think it's like
Yeah,
11, maybe
yeah.
12. I'm not
I,
sure.
yeah, I think it's 11, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, that's good you were able to realize that, like these men should not be dictating every aspect of your life, because they will
Right.
try to tell you like don't watch anything that we don't approve of on the internet,
Yeah,
and
yep.
don't go to college because you might fall astray. Don't go and step foot in another church. They don't even want you
Oh,
visiting,
yeah, yep,
because the reason is because they can't control you. Then they want to control you. That's what that's about. Control.
yep. Yes, I realized that, yep.
You might learn something
Yeah,
different. They don't
yeah,
like that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I might learn the truth, the real
Yeah.
truth.
Yeah. The truth about the truth, as we say.
Yes,
Ex
yes,
witnesses say that. But now, do
yeah.
you follow any particular way now, or?
Now I believe, I don't think we need a religion to be saved.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
You know, I think all we need is Jesus.
Yeah.
He's the
Pretty
way to
much.
the Father,
Yeah.
you know, and that's all we need. We don't need a religion. We don't need the Catholics or the Protestants or the Methodists or the Jehovah Witnesses or the Mormons or the LDSs, whatever. We
Yeah.
don't need any of that. That's all a group of people. And you don't need a group of people to believe in Jesus or to worship.
Right.
I, from all the videos that I've seen and listened to on YouTube, I come to the point where I say, all I have to do is believe in Jesus, and that's it. Maybe celebrating Christmas is I don't know how God feels about Christmas or about any of the holidays. He might not like them, you know? I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like it's about a relationship with God versus a religion.
Yes, right. I don't want to be in a religion.
Yeah.
I just want to worship Jesus. He's my Savior. He's the only way
Hmm.
to the Father.
Yes.
right?
Well,
And that's all you need. You don't need a church or a priest or a minister to tell you that in
it's true.
every weekend.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I
Okay.
can,
Well, I like that. So, well, I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your story and just kind of, I'm glad you were able to see what was really going on. And you didn't even do a lot of research. You just were kind of putting things together in your mind like, they have a different Bible now.
yes,
They don't use the same book I
yes,
studied in anymore. Who's the faithful and
yep,
discreet slave? And you start, thinking this isn't adding up. And then I can't celebrate the holidays and,
yep,
having good times with your family. Why would that be wrong?
right, right, yeah, and giving gifts back and forth. I know the 25th of December is not Jesus' birthday. I know that.
Yeah.
But I don't, sometimes I look at Christmas as just being with family and just being with each other and giving each other gifts and having a good time together.
Right.
I don't look at it as Jesus' birthday,
Right.
you
Well,
know?
a lot of people who are not Christian celebrate Christmas just because of the family gatherings.
Yes, and that's
So,
how I was doing it,
yeah.
you know? I mean, I like being with my family and having a little get together with them.
Right. No harm in that.
And to think that if I ever became a Jehovah Witness,
Yeah.
um,
You'd have to cut that out. You couldn't
I
do
have
any
to
of
cut
it.
all my family out. I'll be by myself,
Yep. You couldn't
you know?
socialize with them during any holidays. That would not be
Nope.
approved. Not even Thanksgiving. You know, couldn't
Right.
even do that.
Yep.
Mother's
Nope.
Day, Father's Day,
Yep.
nothing. So just
Yep.
no fun.
No fun whatsoever.
And
Yep.
I've been saying this lately that I believe the reason why they do away with holidays and birthdays and stuff is, well, a couple of reasons. One is they want to be unique. They're like, look, we're the
Yes.
only ones that don't celebrate birthdays. We must be the only ones teaching the truth. And also, it's a way to control people and say nobody matters because nobody
Right.
does matter in that religion. If they shun their own
Nope.
kids, like
I know
nothing,
it.
then why would anyone matter? So that's the
Right.
mindset they put in you. Nobody matters. And we can just
Right.
drop you at any second because nobody really is important in that religion.
Right. That's awful.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for sharing your
Oh,
story.
you're welcome.
Thank you so much, Lori, for sharing your story today. It takes courage to open up about your journey. And I know a lot of you can relate to Lori's story, but if you have been through something similar and you want to share your story online, please do so by contacting me at factsonjw@gmail.com if you would like to be interviewed. Also, to everyone watching, thank you so much for joining. Thank you for our YouTube members and our patrons. We really appreciate your support. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you would like to hear more stories. And remember, anytime you are making decisions, always use your critical thinking skills. Stay tuned for more, and we will see you again soon.